If it's a 9 o'clock shift, they expect you to be on set at 8.
Yeah.
And I refuse to.
Everyone here on this table would agree that they wouldn't mind taking a lesser pay cut as long as they get equity in the film.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No producers like hire a technician so कि इसकी film को 500 crore मिला है. If otherwise स्त्री के हिसाब से तो मेरे को 5 साल तक काम मिल सकता है.
You will never get an award for great costumes because if the film didn't do well. And I think that separation needs to happen.
So the kind of songs that I have done for the last 5 years and the amount of views that our songs have got, and if ever I have to go and perform it on stage, I have to pay to perform.
Imagine the stress that you're going through. You haven't started mixing the final reel, but the tickets have been set in theatre.
The monitor where you're supposed to sit and quietly look at the shot and decide if there's anything wrong or if you need another take. Suddenly, it's a theatre of people watching the monitor.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the THR Roundtable with the best technicians of 2024. I'm Sneha Menon Desai, and this roundtable is brought to you by Vedika, Himalayan Spring Water, and G5A is our space partner. This possibly is the first time ever when we're going to see technicians from across departments and the country come together under one roof to be celebrated for their stellar contribution to Indian cinema. And I'm so proud that this is happening on the Hollywood Reporter India. Welcome everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
You know, what a visual this is for me. Like, I just want to take a moment to congratulate myself for making this happen. And I can't help myself from thinking what a blockbuster film I can make if I were to just hold all of you hostage right now. Yeah. I want to know what the dynamic in the room is. Are we friends? Are we fans? Have our paths all crossed? Or is this the first time all of you are in a room together?
I think some of us have worked with,
Of course.
some of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have been in FTI together
So,
during the same time.
yeah, me and
some of
Sudeep
you
goes
films. And
long way back, and me and
the-
Anaita goes long way back. We worked together in very early part of our career. We were together.
Absolutely. I think the only person I haven't worked with is Sidharth. That's a
Sidharth.
grouse
Yeah,
I
same
had.
here, yeah.
So he's the star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very different world, independent film, but slowly crossing over. But yeah, mostly we'll see more collaborations.
Yes, and that was the intent behind this roundtable as well. I want to start with you, Sudeep, and just talk about that incredible scene in Chandu Champion, the one take, 8-minute action scene. I actually want to understand from you how you mentally prepare for a scene like this. What are you doing the night before? What is the real behind the scenes?
I mean, the night before, you just pray for good light. You pray for that's a prime thing, and there's so many factors would come together to make it. Always a single shot is a big. You want everything to fall back because a lot of time has gone in prepping that, and you just hope everything falls in place.
It was 4 days of prep.
4 days of prep and 1 day, 5 days of prep actually,
Okay.
and 1 day of shoot.
So what are you telling yourself? As an artist, what are you telling yourself before you go into stage a shot like this?
It's very exciting that most of it is you're just excited about it,
Yeah.
and hoping everything falls in place. Everything kind of
Falls into place.
Yeah.
You know, Resul, you've already won the Kerala State Award for the amazing crafting of soundscape for Aadujeevitham. That film was 16 years in the making. As an artist, how do you stay invested for this long period of time, and what made this film so exciting for you?
It's actually the film, the idea behind the film, the vision behind the film, that you want to invest yourself, I do not know in any part of the filmmaking in this country, if you go to a producer or to a studio and say, like, I am making a film, but it will take 4 years in its making. I think none of the studios in this country today will venture into something like this. They'll just throw you out of the studio. But their Western counterpart would agree to something like this. I don't know how the same studio, when they work in India, they have a completely different, vision about making the film. Unless you go with them a package, they won't make it. That's what I like about South Indian movies, because they trust the director and his vision so much and they back you. Like, how can somebody be invested in a film for like 15 years or 6 years in actual production and don't sell the film, don't get panic, you know, when the COVID happened and the budget got escalated, and they just stayed calm. Make it the way you want to make it. We edited the film 3 times. I mixed the film 3 times, you know, and just stay focused. What you need, you will get it. We always surprised. I mean, we were terrified when the first print came out. Okay, tomorrow the film is released, and we don't know what's going to be the fate of the film, because we invested so much money on a star who is not for the money that is invested, he wasn't saleable to that extent. But everything just exploded because people saw the effort, and audience felt that they should back it, and they went to the theaters not just once, twice, thrice, 5 times, 6 times. You know, there are people who wrote to me like, I saw it 20 times.
Yeah.
Just to relive, you know, Najib's story. That's amazing.
Speaking of watching 20 times, I don't know what you did with Tauba Tauba, and you literally had the nation in a chokehold. There was no other tune that anyone, and no step that everyone was literally trying to replicate it. I want to go back to the making of it. Do you remember when you cracked that step, and whether you knew that there was this virality attached to it then?
So I think, yes, it is about the step, but also it's not about the step. I feel the whole vibe of Tauba Tauba was Vicky Kaushal has danced like that. Like, you know, the whole graphic
of Vicky Kaushal.
Yeah. When Vicky did it for the first time, he was in Goa, he had no time for rehearsals, he came, and then my team was working with him. And then when I saw the step, even the producers, Amrit and you know, they were like, Anand, they were like, acha, lag raha hai kya acha? So I said, nahi, actually natural swag nahi aa raha hai. So we should go and work with him. And the minute I sat with him, he did the move, and I said, yaar, isko don't treat it like a step, just treat it like it's a part of your life. And I think he just cracked it so well, and he's a natural performer, and that's what you know, came out so effortlessly. Otherwise, you can feel somebody is trying hard to impress. He was like really a cool, you know, performer, and that's what I think Tauba Tauba did. We broke all the norms of, you know, like producers come and tell me, you make it so easy that everybody gets it. But this was a step we made it so difficult that people were trying to. Everybody tried it from a child to a you know, middle age to people who are 60, 70 years. They were also trying to do the move, and I think it was glorifying for the entire song in per se, and that is what happened. So, thank you.
I'm still trying.
You're still trying. We'll do it on this platform.
But Anaita, I really want to talk to you about Call Me Bae and just this canvas that you got to shine with that. And I feel like as a costume designer, you really have to fall in love with your character to be able to imbibe their personality, to understand how they would use fashion to express themselves. And one can tell that you really loved Bae.
Well, actually, it's interesting. When I first got the script, Bae was very straightforward.
Oh.
Yeah, she was more like the Delhi girl who came to Bombay and then was still that. And when I read it, I was like, no. There has to be chaos in her wardrobe. There has to be chaos in her life. Whatever's going on in her mind has to happen in her clothes. And for me, I'm someone that likes to put unexpected elements together. And Colin, as the director, totally bought it. And, you know, Ananya, of course, fell in love with it. And then we created this character. And I think also it's, you know, Bae, as in the character Bae has got a lot of importance. But I think the other small characters around her also set the stage for her to be Bae. So yeah, I had a lot of fun, you know, working with them. I mean, like Neil's character, which is Gur Fateh, true to his name, he only wears blue in the first half of the film. So, you know, it's like that. But yeah, I have to say that Bae was my candy store, and I had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, I think every project brings on that excitement. In fact, I almost become the characters, male or female. Like when so for example, if I was working on war, I start dressing in army green and blue. It's bizarre, my interpretation, of course. I'm not like doing Ritik steps or anything, but I become that person.
And that helps you.
I think Pooja can also vouch for that. Like when we were doing Merry Christmas, I start wearing floral dresses. I don't know what it is. It's just, I guess I'm living the characters for a short spell.
Method dressing in
Not method, not at all method. Totally haphazard, but happening. Yeah.
But you know, Pooja, I'm so intrigued by this dual skill set of writer, editor, and what you did with Merry Christmas, of course, was amazing. I'm curious to know, how does one skill for you bolster the other? Does it? Are they related?
I mean, it certainly does. I definitely feel that, you know, editing is the final rewrite on your film, you know, and I think that when you're involved as a writer, you have a sense of the characters and a sense of the story that eventually when so many people come together and it's such a collaborative medium and so many people's interpretations of your story, of the characters, the actors, the cinematographers, there's so many, the PDs, the costume, all of them. So I think that eventually what you wrote and what you have are different versions of the same beast, and then kind of putting a final sort of, you know, putting a final rhythm on that it's very, I can tell you that it's very joyful for me. I really enjoy, I mean, I really think writing is I can't use bad words, right?
You can.
Writing is a bitch. And editing is just, editing is putting the jigsaw pieces in place, you know. So for me, editing is like the great puzzle, and the writing is you have to think shit up.
Yes.
Can I differ with Pooja on that?
Please, let's start the fight.
So, no, it's like saying editing is the final writing. I beg to differ with you. I think sound design and final mix of the film is the final writing of the film. Final writing of the film.
I hear you.
So it's one stage of writing.
Yeah.
You know, editing is.
I feel like sound and editing actually go so much together. I mean, there is such a lot of what is the word for it? There is alchemy in that.
It's called sound editing.
So
It's called sound editing.
Yeah.
So you are a picture editor.
Yes.
I also actually work a lot on sound. I do because I think when I'm putting something together, I get a sense of the rhythm. Like, I'm not one of those people who will, if a door has to shut, then it has to shut with a certain cadence in my head. Yet, so on Avid, I have a sense of the whole film. Of course, then the sound guys take over and they do their jazz on it. But there is a certain, I agree with you. It's not denying it.
I want to come to Mayur. Yeah. You have worked on so many films this year. There was 3-2, there was Teri Baaton Mein Aisa Ulja Jiya. There was Merry Christmas, absolutely.
Shut the door also.
But I want to talk about your work on Kill. In fact, I was talking to Raghav Juyal, who says that Mayur is in fact the lead actor of Kill. And the fact that the train that you made for the film helped him with his performance as an actor. Is that something that you think about when you're actually creating?
Yes, actually. So whenever I conceive the film, whenever the script comes to me, so of course there's a material involved. We have to build this, we have to build that, and usually we start the conversation with like that. Okay, we have to build that. But I go back to my writing, like whatever the material I got, I have to invest time into that. So when I read Kill, there's a whole description of action. There's a whole treatment note is there. Okay, I said, nice. Where's the emotion is? I get it. What is your treatment note is, how I'm going to kill you and you're going to kill me, I get it. But where's the emotion? Then we and my director has a debate on that, of course. So Nikhil is like slightly, okay, what do you mean? I said, this is not working for me. You should give me emotion. Then I'll start investing myself into your script. Otherwise, you need a set. I can build it. It's very easy. How to invest myself into as a production design? So the train or me is become a character of it. You know, we are the part of the film and we are become a character of it. Then I start designing, okay, how to make a real train into a shoot train. See, for example, train is like everybody travel with the train. So you can't cheat it. You can't trick people. Okay, no, train can be look like that. Train can be look like that. No, the train has to be look like a train. and it has to be shootable also. The cinematography involved, the sound involved, the editing involved, the actors involved, the costume involved, everything involved into it, this one box. So actually I have to create a matchbox, which are all the sticks has to be, fit together, and every stick has its own play. So when I start conceiving the train, that's my thinking, okay, this should be, every department has to fit in this box. And this box has to say something. It's not only the train, it should be, say, the kill train. So that's how I...
You even got the movement, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we did the whole, the mechanism under this train. It's called like hydraulic system. We place under that, and that start moving, and then you have to calculate. Okay, how much is going to be moved? Your glass is moving or not moving? You are moving as a body. So sometimes we have to tell, you have to move more because this hydraulic system is not working. So the luggage is moving and he is not moving. You have to also move. So that's how Raghav and me start. When he's standing there, he's just standing still. I said, Raghav, you have to move. This train is also moving. So sometimes you have to interpret it also. And if you see maybe it's not my job, okay, to tell Raghav, okay, we have to move. But I have to take care of,
Because
certain
there's
things.
emotion now.
Exactly, there's an emotion involved. So if my emotion is involved, then I think everybody's emotion into the film then. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And finally, may I tell you that when I said to my colleagues at THR that I'm going to be doing this roundtable, his was one name that came across unanimously across the board. They were like, you have to get Sidharth Meer. And what a year you've had with Jigra and Control and Raj Jawan Hai. I'm going to ask you about Jigra, and I want to really know the difference between the prison scenes and the foreign country outside. How much of it was lighting and cinematography, and at what stage does a colorist come into the picture?
I mean, we came in pretty much as soon as the edit was locked. In fact, even before the edit was locked, because I saw a 3.5-hour version of it. And obviously it's now down to 2.5. And we actually had a lot of references from this photographer called Greg, who had shot a lot in Southeast Asia. So there were photographs from Hong Kong, Taiwan, which were all shot in the 70s, which were kind of a reference for Swapnil, essentially not for the look, but the kind of mood that we wanted it to evoke. Because 90% of the film is shot in India. So in fact, there are scenes which are literally where you have BKC, Singapore, and a set being intercut with some green screen stuff, which you have to try and sell the illusion that they are actually in a Southeast Asian country. And we actually kind of dialed a lot of diffusion into post just to kind of evoke a certain reference to certain South Asian films that we've kind of grown up on. You'll see references to Chungking Express on the plane. You'll see a lot of Easter eggs that Vasan puts in.
Yes.
And we're just trying to evoke that feeling. And yeah, I mean, we kind of worked a lot, and there was a lot of stuff that wasn't working for us. And it was just this one particular night where I was working late and I tried something, and then Swapnil came back the next morning. He's like, what did you do? This is it. And we knew, okay, now it's in the right place.
What did you do?
I don't know, I can't recollect, but it was just one of those things, you turn the music on and you're just peacefully working by yourself and you just find something.
It was the
it's
night.
one of those.
It was the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually interesting because you mentioned music and you mentioned night. Do you guys have any crutches that dressing for you? Interesting, that already came up. But anything that helps you work?
It's just a happy moment, a happy process.
Do you work better at night?
Always.
Always?
Yeah. When everybody is sleeping, when the whole world is sleeping, I'm awake and I'm working and I'm doing things for everyone who is sleeping.
Taking care of the world. What about you, Pooja?
I listen to a lot of music while
Music
working.
helps?
Yeah, really, really helps. Really, I enjoy it.
Bosco, music must help you too.
Always. Always. But I hate filming at night because my biological system just goes for a toss. I feel there are fresher ideas in the day. I feel happy. In fact, I hate waking up early, but the minute when you wake up early, you have a different perspective. And anything that you're stuck, you have a short breakdown. And then you're stuck and you want to do a breakdown so that you get your shots right. You just shut it off. go to sleep, wake up at 6 in the morning instead of waking up at 9.
Yeah, that's
It always helps.
Everything, it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
in
Clarity.
in a jiffy.
School exams also that used to
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
absolutely,
won't happen
exactly
with
the
me.
same thing. You know.
I'll go back to sleep when I wake up at 6.
I do my
With the
meetings
exam.
like a school exam. Like before a day, I don't know what to present. My team is working on
Yeah.
it. The
It's
designs are
always
working.
like an
I have
exam.
Every
no
day is a
clue
test. Yeah,
what
I
I'm
agree
going to
with that.
present.
Yeah.
I have
I
no
agree.
clue
ऐसा
about it.
feeling आता है कि high speed shot चल
Yeah,
रहा है कि मैं
exactly.
present कैसा कर रहा हूँ ये. So it's like a pressure when you feel like you want to do your shots, but then you have so many shots and you have only so much time. How do you break it down? Then you kind of design it into a one shot where Dada always helps me, and the train journey is also a great one,
Yeah.
which Dada and me
did
have
together,
had.
yeah.
And you know he's got the whole system right, the hydraulics right, and everything was bang on in that. But yeah, I think overall it's the whole pressure, and then how you kind of convert it into your energy, and because there's only like every time somebody will a producer will come and ask a choreographer, हो जाएगा ना? So I say, हो जाएगा का मतलब जब start करेंगे तो होगा. So all those things come into play. Yeah.
They
But
may be
yeah.
asking, hit हो जाएगा ना? Maybe they ask.
Viral हो जाएगा.
Viral हो
Viral
जाएगा. अभी spiral करूँगा उसके बाद viral हो जाएगा. Let me circle around and then. But
Sudeep,
That's
you've
pretty cool.
known and worked with Bansali for nearly 25 years. I love the rapport the both of you in fact are building with Sriram and how much you guys associate with him. And slowly but surely, Vasan is also becoming one of those people for you. I want to talk a little bit about what makes you as artists go back to filmmakers. What is it that they give you that makes you feel like you want to go back and do their films? Everyone.
I think they give you a voice. If you are with a director, they heard and they give you the ground to play. Okay, this is your story, it's not my story. I did my bit. This is my screenplay. When time comes, I'll direct it. But before that is your thing. You take it how you want to take it, and that's the thing you want to go back to the same director or to the same space. Or it's not even the directors, even like Dada, Anaita, everybody. Like we also when we're working, when we know okay who's shooting it, okay, this great.
Yeah.
It's not about
Stop
we are
thinking.
friends together. It's about okay, you
Yeah.
understand. You respect each other. You respect ideas to each other. Like
That's
me
the
and
first thing
boss.
that we ask actually when we
Yeah.
take up a
Yeah,
project. we say,
exactly.
like, who's a production designer?
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
costumes? Who's
Choreographer.
choreographer?
Choreographer, yeah. As soon as
And who's a sound recordist?
yeah, exactly.
I think there's a lot of mutual respect
Yeah.
and dependency.
And dependency.
It's very
Yeah.
important to
Yes.
realize that because if one of us screws up, the
Yeah,
whole
the
thing
whole
is
thing
going to
is
be a
gone
mess.
mess.
Everyone
Yeah,
looks
exactly.
All of us have to bring our best foot
Best
forward.
game
Yeah.
throughout.
And also understand when one of us is nudging the other, like he might say, "Arey, what is this print? It looks so bad." I'm like, trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
He has to trust me.
Yeah.
And if it's all mutual. And I think
Yeah.
we work very well together.
Yeah.
At least
there's
everyone on
also
this
a
table.
transparency,
Yeah.
you know, if you feel like something is a little off, you
Yeah.
can talk to the
Yeah.
person and say, what about
Correct.
this? What were you
Yeah.
thinking?
Yeah.
And so I think this being able to be collaborative and have an autonomy, you know, and your own voice.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think brings people together.
We
keep
also
working
help each other
with each
grow,
other.
I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like,
Yes, of
because
course.
we're constantly learning,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, Bosco and I just spent like 3 weeks in Europe shooting something, and the bond makes us better people
Yeah.
at work
Yeah.
and at play.
You know, this ho jayega thing comes
Yeah.
this way also. Like when I'm going to present something to Bosco in your studio, so he telling me, ho jayega, tu kar le. No, this ho jayega feels makes you comfortable.
everyone
Okay,
has-
now he's confident
everyone
on
has
me.
each other's
Like
back.
Dada is confident. Okay,
Yeah.
then we can ho jayega. Are tu kar rahe na, ho jayega. This ho jayega is also comfort on when we are jammed
ये
together.
title register कर लो हो जाएगा. Okay.
I also want to talk about this camaraderie. I know the two of you went to FTII together.
Yeah.
That is a long-standing friendship. What is the unsaid etiquette on set? Like, what are the rules of this operation that between departments? Talk to me about that.
I think that everyone's working on the same film. The vision is the same, and that I think what your previous question is, that is what the director provides. That vision of that film, and that everyone's working towards that film, and no individual, nothing
Is more important.
I mean,
important.
a film is
Everyone-
larger than the sum of its
Yeah.
parts, for
we
sure.
all seeing the same film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but give me more. What is it that you hope what is it that you expect from a good production team? Like, where are the wires that shouldn't cross?
Good lunch on the Reikis.
Every day.
Yeah, or every day. Yeah. This
Food is the
a-
most
Food is
important.
very
Food is
important.
most important, and the coffee on time is most important.
Coffee, yes, good
Rest
coffee.
we can manage. We are expert enough to manage that, but just arrange the good food and the coffee.
But
Baaki
I
sab ho
just
jayega.
feel like
Yeah.
every set
Ho
is
jayega.
different. I think every set, every
Yeah, the
filmmaker is
energies are
different.
different. I
But-
feel.
Yeah,
Sorry. Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
So, like I was saying, I think every set will have its own sort of, for want of a better word, tonality of what's going on, right? Which comes down from the top, from the
Trickles
director,
down,
producer, and so on. But eventually, I think people come together with a certain end goal in mind. At the time, you just know that you want to do your best for this particular thing. You know, it's a very abstract end goal,
Exactly.
if I
Yeah,
may.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like you just want to do your best today.
Yeah.
And I think when people try to do that, other people help them. You know, and I think that's what happens.
I also feel like a director has a vision, and mostly with the songs, or we are creating something, whether it's a montage song or if it is a dance number, I think the director kind of just lets you do what he, because he's called you for certain expertise that we have. And
Unless it's Sriram and he wants to put dialogue in the middle of it.
yeah, that also
That
with
has happened,
Sriram,
yes.
with Sriram, I think I've only worked for
Agent Vinod.
Agent Vinod, yeah. A director comes with a vision, and you kind of want to not. You have your own interpretation of that. You can't. Film se bada koi hero nahi hota hai. So something that has to be in the realm of the film. You give that expertise, and the director is he kind of likes what you do sometimes, and sometimes you have to convince or get convinced on what is happening. So that's, I think, a very artistic and a creative process, and you should not stop from not voicing even if it is stupid, even if it is
Yeah. You
but
should
I
voice
feel
out,
as an artist, as a technician, you should definitely want and should voice your opinion, because something might come out of that. And somebody might get triggered from there, and they will do something. So you have to really constantly.
In that sense, a
because-
safe space.
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
you can
because
speak your mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
And also
every
a safe
time.
space to be rejected. If
Yeah,
someone
which
doesn't
is
like
fine
your
too.
idea,
Like,
it's okay.
Yeah.
You're not
We're all
going to only
professionals.
get good ideas.
Yeah.
You're going to
Every
get
time,
some pretty
every
bad
time.
ones
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Is it a safe space when you have to convince an actor otherwise, or have you figured out how one can go about doing that?
It's a very tricky
It's a
space.
tricky space.
It's a very tricky space. We just use bylanes to dodge them, and sometimes then they're there.
That's a
and-
skill set that you need to develop.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you need to feel them comfortable.
Yeah.
Because they are, I think it's a part, as a DOP, I think it's a part of my job is to make them comfortable,
Absolutely.
to provide
Correct.
them an atmosphere where
Yeah.
they can perform
To their best.
to the best
Yeah.
and at ease, and we should make them feel that they're looking best. And
We can
Make
always
sure.
say, don't worry about the clothes, the lighting will do all the work. Don't worry.
Yeah. I feel like actors have really tough jobs in the sense that you think that, they have the fancy vanities and the doodas and the entourages and all, but the insecurity of being in front of a camera and you have to deliver. I think that's really tough in
we all
a
have to
sense
deliver.
that we all have to deliver. We all have to deliver. I agree, but
I feel even we have that.
we have that pressure. We have that pressure, and so
We don't
do
get
different
pampered.
skill set.
but,
we don't get
Yeah.
pampered. That's the difference.
Yeah. We're sharing a vanity van.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, yeah. Or,
I'm going to flip this question and ask you guys, as technicians, what do you fight about on set?
Okay.
Between ourselves?
Yes.
Oh.
Don't give bangles is
Bangles is a big one.
a big one.
We have remedies now. We tape them.
Oh yeah?
Of course.
Interesting.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, let's not
I
go into
think,
piles for sure.
Bangles for the color, maybe.
A lot of times,
Checks.
You have to, the production, the art team, they need to understand what it's going to look like after lighting. because things might.
Now you have it.
Can of
Things will
worms.
look different after I light.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying that this wall is too bright,
Yeah.
they'll say that no, it's fine. But after I light up, it won't remain.
Just imagine this glass is lit and suddenly ये क्या होगा यार? इसका light करो.
And the art department, I mean, they get like months to make a set, and we get like hours to light it, and they are messing with the propping even just before the take. It's very annoying.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one DOP fight I constantly have is all DOPs hate white costumes.
No,
Yes.
no.
Thank you.
Lovely.
But it's a struggle, and I'm like, get over it.
No, it's
Enough.
white is a problem when you have one black and one white next to each other. That might be a
Fair
white,
enough, but like, it's like we love white.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
must
like,
say,
I'll tea-dip it.
some DPs do, not Dada, of course. But some DPs do. They
One
want to
level.
tweak the light,
One
and they said it. Okay, can we change this table? It's not working in the frame. And by the time your lighting is changing, okay, then we realize no, table is working. Actually, this is changing.
These are tricks of the trade.
These
You
are
have to-
tricks.
you have to-
So on
you
set,
do-
there's
you
a
do
tricks
that,
is
you
happening. Yeah.
Sometimes point out the makeup and keep.
Yeah.
Best is if
गलत है, इसको ठीक
you
करो.
find an insecure actor and like you
Lunch break.
just last minute you look at Siki and okay, that's that's going for half an
You
hour
got
makeup
your
check.
20 minutes.
He's bought his lighting time.
Sidharth, what do you fight about? You don't look like the guy who fights at all.
No, not really. Mostly it's about actually very recently on Jigra where we were having this discussion because we wanted to do like an HDR version of the film for Netflix.
Okay.
And like Swapna was very married to the SDR look which went for cinema and like we did one version which is like 400 nits and then he's like, nahi, thoda zyada lag raha. Then we made 200 and now we just decided we're just going to let the SDR version go. But honestly, I'm very happy with what we did even for the cinema version and what the audiences will see eventually on Netflix will be the exact same version. And yeah, I mean, a lot of work went into it and Swapna was very right when he said, we worked really hard getting it here. Let's not try and, do more or change it in any way. So you have those kind of creative differences, but really like you find your way.
That's what we'll call it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you find your way through it and you kind of realize that, it is probably just better for the film this way.
Very
Actually, when-
sweet how you raise your
Yeah.
hand.
Actually, when the question came, I was just thinking where to start. You know? Everybody is deaf in a film set. I mean, except the sound guy, everyone is deaf, or they're not thinking. Okay, we are the only one sitting in that room and listening to sound at the theater level, 85 dB SPL level. We are listening, and you are making judgment. Okay, that. Jenny in that corner is making noise. I mean, today we have so much of flexibility, so much of plugins, you can deal with it digitally, remodify and all that. But there was a time there was nothing. The biggest enemy was this man, camera.
Yeah.
Can you imagine camera when it
The
runs in the
camera sound.
camera, it
That
makes
was part of
noise.
the reason they had to dub, right? I mean, because the camera used
those
to.
are
Ma'am,
such a lot of other
I
things.
have taken a tailor to the set with a tailoring machine because the camera didn't have the bani. It's over the magazine, you put a bani which silence the magazine sound. So I am like literally picking up a tailor from Andheri, one of the Basti from Andheri, with a machine. Go to Gorai beach, park him over there, measure, stitch it. No, it's not right. Stitch it, restitch it. I mean, I'm coming from like. Imagine my struggle.
No, I'll tell you one interesting.
How are you
we were doing Kyun Ho Gaya Na, and this was early 2003.
Yeah.
Something. The production crew was surprised that the requirement that Resul had given was mosquito repellents. Biscuits for dogs, stray dogs around 2 to 3 kilometers. The production boys would go and distribute biscuits.
That is so clever.
At the time of the shot. To
Yeah,
keep
so
them
they're
quiet.
not barking
and
away.
Mosquito, because people kill mosquitoes on set, no?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so there was no thinking of, it was like for us also, it was a complete
Learning.
learning of that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually important.
So I was doing a French co-production film somewhere in Madhya Pradesh. It was a film about a village where there are no women. Okay, so there are no kids. Now in a village, it's so quiet. 1 kilometer away, you can hear a kid crying. What do you do? Like make the production guys run
Yeah.
with the biscuits and milk.
Yeah.
I mean, those are my requirements.
I'll tell you, this sensitivities came from the sound, like how sir is explaining. When I started when go for a Reiki, like generally in the first scout of the time, sound team was not there, me and cinematographer and director goes. So we just choose the location because we like the location.
Yeah.
As much as you can see the lighting.
Yeah.
Some cinematographers scold me for that also, because I choose a location for the bad lighting, then I learn with that how to choose a location for that. So that's, but later slowly I have to sensitize myself. Okay, I have to choose a location for the sound also. I have to be sensitive about it, because that's going to be play eventually. Eventually you're going to shoot there. Eventually your actor is going to perform in the middle of wherever you're shooting, and you have to choose the right location for the sound. So yes, this sensitivity is come very late. Earlier we are not bothering about it.
I'll tell you, Resul, after many years, I'm doing a film which is non-sync sound. I can't operate because the amount of noise on set.
Yeah.
You can't think straight.
Yeah.
Because, now I've got used to completely working only on sync sound films. And that discipline is addictive.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of quietude on set. And now when it's not there, it's...
That's the reason you should do a lot of songs, Dada.
Imagine me doing live sound for an Allu Arjun movie with minimum crew size is 500. 500 people on set. Imagine the number of Jennies, number of vanity vans, number of fans.
Yeah.
So that's only staff, right? 500.
Yeah.
then
So 14, 15, at the moment the star walks in, this whole room is filled. I mean, you literally have to like swim to make them. And the director is like, sir, can we use the sync sound? Sir, but you didn't shoot sync sound. That was Nagara sound. It's like, I mean, he is so obsessed with sync sound. He keep calling me, sir, you tell me what to dub. But I don't know the language, so I don't know if they spoke right.
I clearly know his. I want to know from each of you, what are your pet peeves? Phones on set, could be anything, but do you have a pet peeve?
I have one, which is I feel if you're sitting in front of a monitor, don't be on your phone. Because if you are taking that important space where someone who could actually contribute by seeing what's happening, then I'm saying when the shot is going on. And also, I don't like people talking rudely. And I think that's changed, fortunately. When we started, people were quite obnoxious on sets.
And then eating in front of the monitor, I hate that. Like somebody's eating, like you start eating. Like craft services coming and you're watching the shot.
Most of it is out of nervousness, or the people.
The munching is okay.
Yeah.
But not the
munching is not okay.
Of course not okay.
No, the thing is, lunch break time is over. Everybody's like waiting. The director is sitting and eating.
Yeah. And for me, like we build the set with all emotions. Everybody's like, it's very nice, it's very beautiful. For 2 hours, it's very beautiful. As the lunch comes, everybody starts sleeping on set. They are sitting on a sofa. What the? It's the set. It's not your home. Please go home and sleep.
Like, I'll tell you a very funny story. When, of course, we were shooting black. There was a lot of people, and it's a set. It's lit up. Then one day post lunch, I'm sitting snoring.
God.
Jabardast snoring.
She's racing.
Yes.
We hear it all the time.
This is in Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
And we're looking for the guy. Like,
God.
वही नहीं है. It's a black hole का पीछे.
It happens very often.
And
Glory your way to glory.
The poor first AD saying, "कौन कर रहा है ये? तो बाहर निकलो जहाँ से हो वहाँ से बाहर निकलो." On this big set, and like the fuckers is sorry, the man is asleep.
उसका भी back story रहेगा बेचारे.
He's asleep, and eventually we found him, and he was really pissed
But did you
off
ask
with
him
all
why?
of us. And
Did you ask him
he
why he was
damn
sleepy?
sleepy. बेचारा सो
He was
गया.
working at night.
He was
Making
he
babies.
was very tired.
No, he
was
found the
fast
right
asleep and
mattress. It's
snoring.
not he.
He gave him a comfy
The
mattress.
comfy mattress.
Foam.
Yeah, it's me.
It was even
It's also to do with lighting, you know.
He was asleep.
It's
in the
about the
bathroom.
lighting also.
The lighting
Yeah.
department is
It's the-
majorly responsible.
Mood lighting.
Yes.
In olden, when I say olden time, like 10 years, 15 years ago, we had HMI lights.
Yeah.
You know.
Now it's on cold.
और एक पांचा लेके नहीं घुमा तो लाइट बॉय को they never feel they worked.
Yes.
तो कुछ भी नहीं तो अच्छा ये 5 के उधर लेके जाओ. So now that time is over. No? Now everything is like soft, very lightweight. So they have no work.
But I want to add to the peeve.
Yes.
The monitor. The monitor where you're supposed to sit and quietly look at the shot and, decide if there's anything wrong or if you need another take or whatever, right? And but it becomes like it keeps like in our award shows.
Yeah.
God, seriously,
That
rules.
Suddenly, it's a theater of people watching the monitor.
Yeah.
And that's
I
never
hate when
peak.
people come and touch my monitor.
It's it's
Like
not a nice thing.
you tell somebody, can you move that thing from there? Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Touch the monitor, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the monitor. That's where I'm making my judgments. You go and smudge with the finger marks.
Just because of that reason, on Merry Christmas, I got my like separately, like a small monitor, got myself.
shoulder-
Okay, I don't
shoulders.
want to sit this entourage. I
Shoulders.
don't want
Yeah.
to. It's like a
But
small
now,
shop.
my monitor is really protected. I have like flags all around. You're not allowed to come.
So in Hollywood, they call it video village.
Yes.
So video village is separate.
Separate, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can flock and watch the film without tickets.
Yeah.
That is separate thing.
But
And
even
for
when we
creative
shoot
people,
ads, we see that it starts the technician, I mean the agencies in the video, and slowly they're in the director's village. So
Yeah.
there's the villages all meet by the end of the day, by lunchtime.
Yeah.
They
All
become
boundaries have been
towns.
crossed.
They are not villages
Yeah.
anymore. They are like big fat towns with lots of people in them. They're always in each other's ways, and I mean it's the chaos of India in some sense. You know, I think.
they also, the way we function, there is, when I was working in Slumdog, we were shooting in a hotel, and we were with kids, so I didn't have much space to swing the boom and all that. So I asked the prop boy to give me some books. You know, there are already books in the frame. So I asked him, so can I get some more books, or can I hide my mic behind it? He said, go get it.
Go get
Like, yeah. So they won't do, they will take care of their department. They will not do anything for your department, you know. Whereas here, if I tell an art boy, "Hey, thoda ye leke aa," they'll run, go get it. So the interdepartment, you know, cooperation and the beauty of the way we work. I mean, we are chaotic, but there is an order
There is
in
a
the
method
chaos.
to the
to
madness.
the madness.
You know, there's a order in the chaos.
Yeah.
I love the dynamism of how we work. What I don't like is the lack of discipline.
I think
So-
that's a huge issue with most of the mainstream films that I've done, coming from like an independent side where like post-production is really, really well managed, and there is like a set timetable for everything and everyone follows that. But somehow there is this sense that working within this chaos, they might get a better product. And I don't know why it is, but there is always like an insane urgency and almost you could say fake deadlines for a lot of stuff, which actually makes no sense. Like there are projects where we've been told, oh, it needs to go on that date, but the file actually went like 3 months later. It did not matter. But they said, no, we will lose money. It did not matter. So it just feels like, you know,
That
there
I
is
agree.
I have
Even
like
with
a one,
editing,
I have like
mean,
a one-line definition for Hindi cinema. You know, hurry up and wait.
Yeah. Okay, coming to something very important. We recently did a THR roundtable with filmmakers on which, in fact, Karan Johar and Zoya Akhtar talked at length about how the time had really come to recut the payment pie.
Oh,
Truth is, you cannot expect to have the best technicians in the business if you're not willing to work this around, and you cannot have your lead actors consuming the biggest bulk of that pie. Are we moving in that direction? How are we feeling?
sometimes it's ridiculous. You have the biggest stars and the smallest budget for the shoot. And like that's appalling sometimes when they tell us that like we can't afford this equipment or stuff like that. But that needs a solid correction.
I mean, I say some of the biggest stars movies like independent film.
Yeah.
Because you only have so much
Left.
for production. You have so much for the star.
Yeah.
So much for production.
So we are
And
not
even
moving.
less for
Sound though
post-production.
doesn't even figure in this whole
Exactly,
system.
even less for post-production.
So we are not moving,
By
actually, we
that time,
moved.
it's like paisa khatam ho
Like-
gaya hai.
I feel it's gone backwards actually. We had better budgets before. And now it's
I agree
like
with you.
we have
Yeah.
the
I
money.
agree with you.
You know,
Yeah.
earlier there was so much more trust. It was like, okay, we know what you'll do and we know that you'll just do your best.
Yeah.
Now it's like, what will this cost? Oh, you need into 3. How
Yeah.
much is that? No, can you make it less? So there's no scope actually for, what's the word? For creativity
Creative
at
process,
the
yeah.
top level.
So, you know, the earlier, I think the decision
Yeah.
taken by one person, like for example, Adi Chopra, like he can take a decision, okay, this needs to be done, okay, done. Now you are in the corporate system. There's no face to
The
say ki no
auditors are
and yes.
deciding.
Now you are service provider. So the most hate part right now I'm moving towards this, like we are become a service provider. less collaborative.
The contract is also service provider's
Service
contract.
provider. Exactly.
Yeah. The
So
contract is
it's
called
in the contract.
Contracts
Say-
are
sorry.
contracts are hard to read. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
I mean, contracts for technicians are just.
It's called service
you
provider.
read it and you're saying, "Wow, this is just doesn't feel
Yes.
like it's doing me
Yeah,
any."
yeah.
You
Justice
feel,
or-
you just
Yeah.
feel like you feel a little bit.
Like, I think
Okay, you're being talked down to that you are going to screw up, and we'll be there when you screw up. Then it's a very, it's a
Yeah.
slightly,
Aggressive.
aggressive and not kind
It's like-
way to talk to
sorry.
technicians.
Sorry. It's like, olden times. I don't know why I'm using the term olden times again.
Last decade.
We
People
all
used to
do.
come and ask you how much time you require
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do the
Yeah.
sound design or to do this work, how much time you require. So you say 3 months. Okay. Then they plan everything according to that. Now, in those times, if you're spending longer time in your work in a film, the producer would think that he's actually doing something great for my film.
Yeah.
Now,
Correct.
if you take long, you
Yeah.
think you are not efficient.
Yeah, and you're wasting money. Like yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
nodding along your point exactly.
Yeah.
But I think the artist equity model, Matt Damon's company that they're trying to do right now, I think that's something that we should actually look at and see if that's something that we can implement. Like, I think everyone here on this table would agree that they wouldn't mind taking a lesser pay cut as long as they get equity in the film.
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
you know what?
Yeah.
If we get that kind of equity,
Yeah.
we can own the studio.
Yeah.
So the kind of
Yeah.
songs that I have done for the last 5 years and the amount of views that our songs have got, and if ever I have to go and perform it on stage, I have to pay to perform for the the actual pain of just giving your services, because if you don't do it, somebody else will do it. So you might as well do it, because then you're doing something that you're happy. But the whole the disparity and the way it is functioning, like, I think the royalty model should definitely come. Even if you give 1 rupee,
Yeah.
I think we are all sorted. We do not need to think about it. Is all taken care of, because that's the kind of visibility
And
that
it's all our creativity,
it's
right?
all our
Yeah.
creativity.
Everybody
and
comes
because
Everybody-
together
we
to
do not-
create
Exactly.
it. It's not
we are
one
not
person.
we are not the
Yeah.
owners of
Yeah.
what we've created.
Yeah.
It's
And
gone.
because
Somebody else owns it.
and you have to do that, because if you don't do that, then somebody else will do it. And then now, because of the brand that you are, you can talk about it and people can hear you. And I feel that as technicians, we should all have at least, if not the pie, the crumbs, whatever that is. So, but
Bosco,
I
but
say rally for the pie.
No,
Yeah.
because
Bosco.
you have the skin in the game.
Exactly.
yeah.
Your
We're
commitment,
talking
your
about this.
thing is all
We're
there.
not even
Yeah.
getting credits on everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
Credit
hello.
is
Let's
You have to
take
fight.
baby
You have
steps.
to fight for it.
Credit and
Yeah.
money, you know?
Fight and how?
And it's always
Yeah.
said,
And then
oh, like the
one who's
studio doesn't
giving-
want to give it. I'm like, I don't care who wants to give it. Give it.
Yeah.
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 You know?
And
I
The
think
end
it's very
credit, the
important.
front credit, and
On every
yes,
post,
yeah.
there should be credit. Why
Yeah.
not? It's equal.
Exactly.
You know?
Why
was
do you
my
say
next
it's a,
question,
Yeah.
why do
actually.
you say it's a team effort when you
Correct.
can't have
Credit the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bosco, you've been quite
I've been at
vocal
it.
about
I've been at it. I've been at it for the community, for the choreographers who, there's you've just forgotten the song is over. It's come. You're not even invited when the song is launched.
Presented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
None
not
of
even
us.
invited when the song is
Or a,
launched.
or a trailer.
The
or
glory is
anything.
gone,
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
you feel so low and you feel so miserable that you've created that. You've had sleepless nights. You want to shoot the best song in the given time, and like today. Earlier the songs we had 4 days. Today it's become 2. Now it's become 1.
One.
So you're like trying to figure out how are you going to, and it's also pressure on your health, because you feel like I'm taking blood pressure tablets now because, and I don't know why, because it's your lifestyle. You've kind of created that for yourself, but also it's the working atmosphere that you're kind of into, because you want to, you're so much in love with your work and so much in love with this art of yours that you want to give it your best, but then I think the collaboration of every department has to come together to feel this energy and then create this magic.
This is a collaboration of every department.
Absolutely.
It's-
So you were saying something.
So we were talking about residuals. Actually, it is the mainstream films that have not done it. In India, people have done it. For example, independent films. Rajat Kapoor, when he makes a film, we all get a pie.
Yeah.
Superb.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
never ask money.
That's
Okay,
wow.
whatever
Rajat
he
Kapoor
has.
ki jai.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sunil Doshi, producer Sunil
Yeah.
Doshi, when they made Bheja Fry, we never expected that to be a huge hit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when it was a hit, he gave everyone, residuals. So there are independent
So I
filmmakers
feel
who's
you
doing
can-
it.
Yeah, you can.
And
pay us.
actually, when you do independent film now, you get the money on time, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever money promised, it comes on time. And whenever, I mean, we have an artistic collaboration where nothing is asked, everything is given. And I'm looking forward to the mainstream industry developing into something like that.
Yeah. And also speaking of recognition, it was amazing to see you at the Call Me Babe promotions.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see you talk about how it's needed
Yeah, I
right
had
now.
to. I had
But
to.
how much of a challenge is it really to put yourself out there?
It's not a challenge.
allowed to put
to be
yourself out.
allowed is a huge challenge because someone needs to think you're worthy of it. But I think fortunately for a lot of us, the kind of work that we do is there to be seen, right? And now there are so many people that have to have stories out there. So of course costume becomes a big part of it. The minute the film comes out and say by some chance doesn't do well, those costumes are forgotten forever. You will never get an award for
Yeah.
great costumes because if the film didn't do well. And I think that separation needs to happen.
I agree.
It's not
on that,
always the same. I did a great job.
Yeah.
The film didn't do well.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I feel that gap, and also I feel like when he was talking about health, I think it's so important to realize that
Yeah.
we're all working under pressure. So it would be more respectful for people to give us the right amount of time to prep. Like when I say, can I see the sequence we're going to shoot? They're like, yeah, we're still working on the previous. But my clothes have 2 days to come in. Why? Give me also that previous time. So I
Ask me
feel-
about the pressure.
Yes, of course, but we all face it. And we make huge sacrifices in our personal lives for that. And I think it has to come to a stage where at the end of the day, it's work. Let's give each other mutual respect. And
That's actually got
Time.
very bad recently, that the
Yeah.
work hours particularly.
Yeah.
And the expectation is becoming that if it's a 9 o'clock shift, they expect you to be on set at 8.
Yeah.
And I refuse to. Why would I come? Because I've signed for a 12-hour day. And they expect you to come at 8 and after shoot to stay back for discussions. And, chalo, for us, we can still get away with it. But for the junior technicians, particularly, I'm saying people like camera attendants and all, imagine their day. They have to start from their houses at probably 6 o'clock to go to the studio, pick up the equipment, come to floor, and you're packing up at 10 o'clock in the night. So these guys get probably 2 to 3 hours of sleep.
That's why they're snoring.
I'm thinking about that.
True that. No, and also I feel like when we shoot abroad, we stick to those rules.
Correct.
We
Yeah.
say,
Correct.
"Acha, 12
Yeah.
ghante to 12
Rolling
ghante." It
break.
doesn't happen here.
Rolling lunch break.
Yeah, rolling lunch break.
Like I said, how does camera department do a rolling break? Our hands are occupied.
They're so dumb in the rolling break, they actually make the rolls. Because it's rolling break.
अभी क्या करना चाहिए ना मयूर और rolling break में ना roll करके खाना चाहिए. So you have to do something sensational. I think every time that you want to make a point, you have to do something that is visible. Today, because of the social media, because of these Instagram, the choreographer now is glorified. You know who's the choreographer. Last 5 years, all our songs have been glorified, and the reels and everything has been. And then every time that a post that comes in, and I shamelessly say, please mention the choreographer. Please mention the choreographer. If you're celebrating an actor, you celebrate the ones who've made that possible, right? Because every time you're giving that energy, you're creating something which the whole world is lapping. They're celebrating your dance moves. Why is it not? And then if you can't have that space, even in a promo which is for 30 seconds, and the choreographer who's done that, you're not having his name because it's cluttered. There are too many. Like Kala Chashma does not have a name. It has and the fight is here. A music director, a lyricist. These guys are celebrated. They should be. Why not? But then the song also has a DOP, also has a production designer, also has a choreographer. Everybody is an editor. Editors always like, poor guys. They've forgotten. Why should they not be? And sir is absolutely right when he's saying a sound designer actually creates the mood.
The final,
If you're watching a horror film, just the sound will create that kind of effect, and it's very important, I think. And we should all get our
Due, absolutely. And what you talked about, the heartbreak when a film doesn't do
Yeah.
well despite
Yeah.
your work being
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
We often ask actors about what they're like on release day. I actually want to know from all of you, like, what are you like a day before a film release, and how do you process failure of a film that you put so much work into? We'll start with you.
I mean, usually it's the day before you're doing your tech check at the cinema, and you're just watching it one final time before you kind of let it go. It's a release, and you kind of feel sad about it sometimes, but you're also feeling good that you finally completed it. But if it doesn't do well, I mean, that's really, I feel like the audience at fault in certain cases. They kind of miss out on something that we feel like is something that is to be experienced in the cinema and not really at home on streaming or on cable. I feel like you kind of start finding reasons, and you want to blame something, and then you're like, oh, maybe the marketing was crap, it didn't reach people. Like, I asked a few friends of mine who aren't from film, like, hey, did you hear that this film released? Oh no, we didn't hear about it. And they might be in Bombay or they might be in like different cities, but it has happened that the marketing or the word of mouth hasn't reached them. But I mean, you kind of just then move on to the next one, and you've kind of forgotten about it. But then you watch that film maybe a year later, on streaming, and then you're like, yeah, it was actually fucking good.
What about you?
Yeah, I think that one is a little bit. I always feel little bit nervous, and you hope that it will reach
Land.
the audience that it's supposed to reach. And happily, sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you feel, I don't know that you feel a little discouraged. More than anything else, you just feel like, okay, oh, I wish, and then you'll meet people later who'll say, oh, I saw this film, but I saw it on TV, or I saw it on OTT, and I'm like, where were you when it released in the theater? So yeah, you always feel like, not so much because मैंने इतना काम किया और ये, it's just so many people's collective work has gone into a movie, and if it works monetarily for the producer, but also for everyone's what is the word for it? You feel energized by that. You feel energized by the fact that people have seen and enjoyed your movies. Also, now we have this thing of, if it doesn't make 100 crores, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I think that a movie that works is a movie that should work not just on the box office, So, yeah. So sometimes you have a movie that works, but it doesn't work at the box office. That feels a bit sad.
For me, it's always been तेरा गाना देखने के लिए हम लोग पिक्चर देख रहे हैं. So it's always been that, and most of the times I think they're all like, we've only gone to watch your film. So I said, अच्छा फिर उसका एक 10 रुपए मेरे को भी दे दे. So, but yeah, most of the times I think a film per se is also, I feel it's filmmaking is a business. I feel people should make money. That's how we'll get money. And the creative process is there, but you should
It's a very
make
commercial
film.
thing.
Commercial.
It's a commercial, yeah. So we should get that sorted. And yeah, song and dance is something that really is celebratory, and a film should do well. The minute a film does well, everything is glorified.
Yeah.
Every minute details, like the costumes, the everything is glorified, and I think it's very important for a film to do well. Just not if I'm doing a song, like there was a song called 10 बहाने. Everybody said, अरे यार 10 बहाने कभी हम देखा ही नहीं क्योंकि आप लोग लेट गए. So the first thing, the film opens with 10 बहाने, and so on. I think it has to be a collaborated thing. A film should do well for everything to get glorified.
How do you process?
A film is, by the time it releases, it's almost like your baby. You've just been in that process, and you've been that through the pregnancy and through the labor pain, and so you want everyone to love your baby like the way you love it. So you want that, and when it doesn't happen, it's very heartbreaking sometimes. And by the time you're so involved with it, it becomes a little difficult for you to be very objective about it. Sometimes when you see, as you're saying, sometimes a year later you see it and you know, okay, this is why it worked, this is why it didn't work. But as a technician, what I have experienced is that sometimes I have not benefited from being a part of a very successful film, while I have really benefited from my work being appreciated even if the film didn't do well. A lot of films I have not done commercially well, but my work was appreciated and I got a better work, because I think eventually somebody who decides to give me work is a director and a producer. They don't always look at whether the film was a big hit or not. They'll look at whether my work was good in it or not. So.
Interesting. Yeah. For me, I'm always excited because, for us, the shoot happens, right? Where everybody hangs out, we're one big family. Then the post-production happens where we're like, ciao. And then we come back for the final thing. So it's very exciting, everybody's reuniting. But I'm like that for other people's films also. I feel happy for anyone celebrating anything. And whether I like the film or not, I'm in a happy mood.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I'm just like, yeah, it's good. Good night out.
I love it.
Yeah. Good night out. Yeah.
How are you on release day?
For a release day, yes, it's similar because you would lose your objectivity. You're so much involved into it. You don't know it's bad, good. You're liking everything what you did. After so much of months and collaboration, like every film, you loved it. You go, and now these days, director involved everywhere. You go for editing, you watch film before the release. So you're so much involved into it, you lose your objectivity. It's great film for you any day. Like after a year also, I'm liking it. Wow. I just derail you the thing like, Dada came for a Kedarnath screening. And he came out and I'm just waiting for somebody is going to tell me what work I done. I said, hello Dada, you like the film? Film is good. What about the production then? तूने काम किया इसमें? Not in that sense.
Yeah,
Exactly. So I said,
compliment.
oh, really? What he's saying? Dada, मैंने ही किया. No. And after 2 minutes, I realized, okay, this is a compliment.
Yeah.
Because that's how, that's your work is going to. So he's absolutely right. If somebody is like director or producer giving me a work, is giving me what I done before. It's not कि okay, इसकी 100 crore की film है तो इसको काम देते हैं.
Correct.
Nobody considered that. Nobody in this industry. No producers like hire a technicians okay इसकी film को 500 crore मिला है. If otherwise स्त्री के हिसाब से तो मेरे को 5 साल तक काम मिल सकता है. But yes, not really.
How it works.
Yeah.
मिल जाता.
Of course.
Release day.
My release day,
Yes.
again long story. Because imagine the stress that you're going through. You haven't started mixing the final reel, but the tickets have been sold in theaters. And you're like, how on earth is possible? Like, just tell you, I'm working on a movie now. My Foley is happening in Hollywood. So one of the biggest Foley artists there. So I sent the reel number 1 and he's working on it and he's taking it easy, he's like taking his own time and all that. One night at 3:30 a.m. I got a phone call from him. I said, what happened now, like this hour? He says, he just finished doing Clint Eastwood movie. So he went to, there was a premiere. So he and his wife went to see the Clint Eastwood movie. And in the theater, he saw our film's poster.
With the release date.
With the release date. And he comes back and he calls me up. Like, I saw the poster of your movie and how are you going to do it? So that is a stress that we go through. I mean, there are times, like when I did Pushpa, I worked 70 hours non-stop.
God.
So release day for me is like sleeping day. Number 1.
It's done. Yeah.
And so like if I date back slightly earlier, release days are like every screening is different because every theater sounds different. Nothing is calibrated. Nothing is calibrated. Okay, so you go to one theater, the sound is different. So the whole experience of the film is different. So you're constantly worried. And there are occasions in my life, in my early part of my career, where I bribed a projectionist. I would go up, give him money, so that he will keep the level at sound level 7. That's Dolby level 7. To keep the sound at 7, I would bribe him. There's a very interesting story. In one of the multiplexes, there was a projectionist. Quite often, I went and bribed him. Then, so when I went, sir, aap aage, then he would sit and narrate me stories. And he's been writing script. And I've heard 3 of the 3 stories, and I realized it's all collage of all the films that he's seen. Imagine the things that I have to endure, you know, just being a sound man. The best release time that I had when I worked on Rajinikanth's movies, you know, that release
It's a
is
festival.
like 5 a.m. show.
Yeah.
You go, there are, you know, milk, there are fireworks. It's like, then you feel like, oh, this is what you worked for. You know, this is the most satisfying thing.
Yeah.
And they celebrate you. And the moment they spot you, like, you know, you're like, so it's a completely different,
Graph. No,
every
absolutely.
film is different. Every experience of that kind is different, you know. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
I mean, I don't think there are any other place in the world where technicians are celebrated like the way we celebrate in India. Like when your name comes, people clap. When you go to theaters, you're mobbed, you know. When I can't go to Kerala without security around me. So, like, there are upsides of it. There are, I mean, I don't think anywhere else, unless you're a Walter Murch or a Bunbert or, you know, James Cameron in the West, you know, the technicians are celebrated, recognized, mobbed. But here, most of us whose work people recognize now and identify. So that's a high.
That is a high.
We are
and
blessed.
Really is
we
the
are
beauty.
blessed.
And
I'm
that
celebrated
is-
at home.
We're blessed. I don't even like
Get
that.
good
For the
biryani.
I don't even get
No,
that.
yeah, most you're like every move, every
Yeah.
you know, video that people creates, reels that people creates on your
It's
So
a
show.
talk more about me, sir.
Isn't that a celebration of you? I mean, every
course.
reel that people create
Yeah.
and
It is
put it up
last 6 months, sir. It is
What
happening.
6 months?
Not rubbish. Yeah.
But
So yeah, I'm celebrated. Okay.
no, you are celebrated, and you know, I went to your Instagram to just check out what you were doing, and he describes himself as a cinema shokunin. So I did some digging, and I found out that shokunin is a Japanese word for a craftsman. The Japanese apprentice is taught that shokunin means not only having technical skills, but also implies an attitude and social consciousness. The shokunin has a social obligation to work for the best of the project and the welfare of the people, but this obligation is both spiritual and material, and no matter what, the shokunin's responsibility is to fulfill the requirement.
Oh,
Wow.
And that's really what each of you do. Ho jayega, however you do it,
Yeah.
but the truth is we are so grateful for what you do, and thank you so much. More power to each one of you.
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
what a
Thank
sign
you.
off, man. What a sign off.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you
on
so
my
much.
roundtable.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, this is Mayur Sharma.
Hi, this is Sidharth Meer.
Hi, this is Sudeep Chatterjee.
Hi, I'm Anaita Shroff Adajania.
Hi, this is Pooja Ladha Surti.
Hi, I am Resul.
Hi, this is Bosco Martis, and welcome to India Hollywood Report.
Please subscribe
To the Hollywood Reporter.
India.